Oh my god, guys, we are finally at the end of the year, 2017, my top 10 favorite movies of 2017. Let's go! What's going on, guys? Ryan O'Toole back here again, giving you guys another top 10 list. That is right, guys, the top 10 list you have all been waiting for since the start of 2017. I'm going to be giving you guys, finally, my top 10 favorite movies of 2017. That's crazy to believe. 2017 is already coming to a close. It doesn't even feel like the end of the year, to be completely honest. I've seen a record-breaking 75 movies this year. 75! That is unbelievable. Last year I saw about 60. Looking back at the year 2017, this was a great year for film. One of my favorite years of film in many years. A lot of movies came out this year, and a lot of them really surprised me, and a lot were extremely disappointing. But we're not talking about the bad movies, we're talking about the good movies. These are the movies that I had the best time watching at the movie theater this year. These are the movies that put a smile on my face, and I just completely loved watching. And making this list was extremely difficult. But before we get to my list, guys, I have to make a couple of reminders, a couple of points, just so you guys are very clear. Please be very cautious. These are my top 10 favorite movies of the year. This is a personal list. There's going to be a lot of movies on this list that you guys are definitely not going to agree with. But hey, it's my list. If you want to, you guys can make your own top 10 list. We all have our own opinions here on YouTube. These are the movies that I love more. Some movies you guys like more that you're going to be like, why isn't this movie higher? What the hell? Also, ratings don't matter for this list. There's going to be a lot of times during this video, you guys may think, why is this movie here? Ryan, you gave that a 5 out of 5 stars. You also gave this movie a 5 out of 5 stars. Why isn't it in the top 10? What the heck? Well, that's just because it's a rating. It's how I feel the movie did, and that I felt it deserved that grade. That honestly doesn't mean I'm going to rewatch it a lot. Movies in my top 10 list are definitely ones I'm going to rewatch a lot. So it just is based on my favorite movies, the ones I enjoy more. That doesn't mean they're not bad, they're just deserve that grade. Just had to get those points out of the way, guys. Now, let's get started. But before we get to my top 10 list, let me give you guys my honorable mentions. There are 10 to be exact, and they are Only the Brave, Stronger, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, All the Money in the World, The Shape of Water, Thor Ragnarok, John Wick Chapter 2, The Lego Batman Movie, Coco, and Baby Driver. Hold it before you guys murder me. Some of those movies I really wanted to put on there, but they just couldn't make my top 10 list. 10 more I enjoyed more. They're still great. Without further ado, guys, let's get going to my top 10 favorite movies of 2017. Coming in at number 10 is one of those movies that I was not at all excited for the start of 2017. It looked like a horror movie, but it had a mix of comedy into it until I found out who the director was, and it was his directorial debut. That is Jordan Peele's Get Out. Get Out is one of the most surprising films of 2017. Jordan Peele absolutely knocked it out of the park with this movie. This movie was a very great horror movie and thriller-wise, but it did it in a completely different way. Racism in a horror element, and the story to this movie is very amazing. Daniel Kaluuya, Allison Williams, Bradley Whitford were all fantastic in this movie. The story is very interesting. It did have a little bit of story issues towards the end, but still, that does not stop this movie. Get Out is one of my favorite movies of the year, and Jordan Peele, I cannot wait to see what he does in the next coming years. Coming in at number 9 is continuing in the horror genre. This was another one of my most anticipated movies towards the end of the year, and it completely fulfilled my expectations. That is It. Stephen King's It, the iconic novel of the same name, this movie was absolutely brilliant. Everything about It really floored me. The kids in this movie, all of them were fantastic in this movie. The feeling of being a part of the Losers Club really did satisfy me. But Bill Skarsgård's performance as Pennywise was revolutionary. He was fantastic as Pennywise. One of my favorite villains of this year. Making him a really creepy clown and just making him feel completely realistic. Also, it wasn't a complete horror movie. It was a great coming-of-age story as well. One of the great coming-of-age movies in years, and one of the best horror movies in years. And it just makes me even more excited for It Chapter 2 and the casting for that. I'm excited to find out. It was fantastic. Hats off to Andy Muschietti. Number 8 was extremely difficult for me to rank, but this movie completely again surprised me. And coming from the fact this was coming from DC, and we know what the DCEU's track record is so far, but this movie completely changed it. You know what it is. Wonder Woman. Absolutely fantastic. What a great superhero movie. Patty Jenkins completely crushed it directing this movie. Gal Gadot's amazing performance as Wonder Woman is the saving grace for the DCEU right now. She's brilliant as Diana Prince / Wonder Woman. The action sequences are fantastic. The performances, especially with Chris Pine, also as Steve Trevor, was great. Their chemistry is amazing. The villain was also very creepy as well. And Wonder Woman completely satisfied comic book movie fans in the DC in general, and it inspires young teenage girls for really wanting to be a strong female person. Wonder Woman just has us excited for what's to come for the DCEU, so obviously Wonder Woman's in my top 10. It was great. Coming in at number 7 is a coming-of-age movie that really did surprise me. That's Lady Bird. Directed by Greta Gerwig, starring Saoirse Ronan, this movie was brilliant. Saoirse Ronan's fantastic performance in this movie is amazing. She's definitely one of the best actress contenders. The relationship with her and her mother was absolutely heartbreaking and wrenching throughout the entire film. Also, Lucas Hedges gives a great performance, and the movie just has a great realistic tone to it, being this coming-of-age story that really was completely realistic. If you went in high school, you definitely went through these problems that Saoirse Ronan was going through. This movie just reminded me of The Edge of 17 last year. It's a great coming-of-age movie, a great drama, and it's definitely an Oscar contender this year. Coming in at number 6 was a movie that I was extremely excited for, based on the fact that this is a movie paying homage to a terrible, awful movie, and it did it in the right ways possible. That is The Disaster Artist. The Disaster Artist paid homage to The Room absolutely perfectly. James Franco's transformative performance as Tommy Wiseau was fantastic. I mean, this guy just has the look of Tommy Wiseau and his voice, and he nails the scenes of "Oh Hi Ma," all the iconic scenes from The Room. You're tearing me apart, Lisa! And it's not just that. This movie is just inspiring. It makes you want to follow your dreams, especially me wanting to follow my dreams of getting into YouTube and movie reviewing. This movie was just completely inspiring and just flat out awesome. This is one of the best theater experiences I've had this year, and I cannot think of how many times I was laughing my ass off. The top 5, here we go. This is where my list starts to get controversial, so you may not agree with it, but hey. Coming in at number 5, it really surprised me. I'm shocked at how much hate this movie is getting. It's the most divisive film of the year. You know what I'm talking about. And it's my most anticipated movie of the year. It's Star Wars The Last Jedi. Fantastic Star Wars film that was completely different. That was definitely the thing that caught people off guard, was just how different it was. And this movie really makes you think, and it gets better each and every time you watch it. And I've seen the movie twice now, and I absolutely love it. I really like the direction that Rian Johnson took with this story, and I commend him for taking the risk that he did. Adam Driver was another standout in this movie. He was brilliant as Kylo Ren, Daisy Ridley. Finn and Rose subplot was the biggest flaw with this movie. I agree with that. It's not my favorite movie of the year. There are 4 more that I think are better than The Last Jedi, but this movie was just fantastic, and I really look forward to watching it more and more again and finding new information about it. Coming in at number 4, this was a movie that I didn't see in theaters at all. It was recommended to me by everybody because they all flat out love this movie, and I flat out love this movie too. That is The Big Sick. What a great romantic comedy right here. Kumail Nanjiani, this guy is just amazing. He's absolutely hilarious and humble. You just care about this guy from the moment you meet him. He's a stand-up comedian who falls in love with his wife, Emily, and Emily, of course, goes into a coma, and this is him trying to build a relationship with her parents, Ray Romano and Holly Hunter, who are also brilliant in this movie. I've seen it twice now. That's how great it is. The Big Sick is very inspiring. If you haven't seen The Big Sick yet, you need to do yourself a favor and go watch it because it's absolutely brilliant. The top 3, these movies right here are the best of the best this year. Coming in at number 3, this was really difficult thinking back and forth with these movies, but this is still very respectable. This is my favorite comic book movie of the year. One of the best superhero movies of all time. That is Logan. This movie was gritty, it was violent as bloody hell, and it was absolutely emotionally resonant. Hugh Jackman, what else needs to be said? He deserves an Oscar nomination. I've said that from my review. He's my favorite actor of all time, and he was brilliant. Patrick Stewart as Professor X, his greatest performance I've ever seen. Daphne Keane as X-23 was amazing. When this movie ends, I was crying out loud of how sad this ending is and just how badass it is. Logan's a great Western as well. It's completely different from other comic book movies than what we've seen before. And it just doesn't feel like an X-Men movie. It just feels completely different. This was a great final conclusion to a superhero. Coming in at number 2 is also the 3rd movie in a trilogy. With this movie right here, this is now one of the best trilogies ever made, period. War for the Planet of the Apes. Caesar Strawn. Absolutely epic. Absolutely fantastic. This movie is riveting from start to finish. Andy Serkis as Caesar. Again, another guy that deserves an Oscar nomination. It's absolutely crazy if they don't nominate him. Woody Harrelson as the Colonel, probably the best villain this year in movies, in my opinion. Everybody calls it misleading. I can see why, but I don't agree with it. I think this movie is way better as a dramatic story than just a war movie with apes versus humans. There's so much emotion and so much rage going on with Caesar in this movie. The story to this movie is heartbreaking and also very connective. And once this movie ends, you're tearing and bawling up. Once the action goes down in this movie, it's brilliant and you're into it. Matt Reeves, hats off to you, sir. You're the best thing that has come for this franchise, and I cannot wait to see your Batman movie. It's gonna be fantastic. My number 1, what could it be? If you've been following my channel for a while now, you know what this movie is. This movie, right after I walked out of the theater, I love this director. He's now my 3rd favorite director of all time. The cast in this movie. And I wasn't a big fan of the first movie. I still have to rewatch it a lot. And you know what it is. Obviously, it's Blade Runner 2049. So amazing! This is a movie. This is how you make movies, guys. This didn't feel like a franchise film. This felt like its own movie, not a sequel bait. This movie had a story to tell. Ryan Gosling was amazing as Officer K. Harrison Ford was fantastic as Rick Deckard. This is his best performance he's given in years. The visual effects and just the storytelling to this movie, making it a lot more informative than the original Blade Runner movie. It paid respect to Blade Runner and it told its own story. Denis Villeneuve, he directed the shit out of this movie, and it just makes me excited for what's to come with this director. Blade Runner 2049 right now is his best movie, and I look forward to what's next. Blade Runner 2049 is my favorite movie of 2017. There you have it, guys. Those are my top 10 personal favorite movies of 2017. What are your guys' top 10 favorite movies of 2017? What did you think of my list? Do you agree with it? Do you hate my list? Let me know down below in the comments your list. Let's get a discussion going on. Of course, with every top 10 best list, there has to be a top 10 worst list. Ugh. Yes, that's right, guys. My top 10 worst favorite movies of 2017 is up next. Look forward to that list because I have a lot of shit to talk about. Thank you guys, as always, for watching this top 10 list. And if you guys liked it, give it a thumbs up. And be sure to subscribe today for more content. Have a happy New Year's, everybody. Can't wait for the year of 2018. All my social media links are in the description down below. Click that notification bell on your way out. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.